work session? Yes.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
We will
A
forego
continuation.
the pledge of allegiance until the 6 o'clock meeting. Last meeting, we finished off right around
Athletic facility.
athletic facilities, yes.
And I believe
You're coming in too.
Levy has updated, right, with the changes that you had asked for. Up there. Good. I don't know why.
All right, so we had the athletic facilities was our next line item. I do want to suggest something.
Yeah, the 20,000. We have an MOU.
Yes.
And they just did.
It was in the folder.
So if you can put that
She had a great here.
Wait a minute, that's the one I got.
No, this one's got different words.
Yeah, we just keep it a little bit, a little bit, but it's one name.
We trying to trick.
Look, the other one's in your big folder.
But it'll update them. Well, he does. Living over is everything like crazy compared to.
It is.
That's not the same, but I don't know.
Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and start with the athletic levies, athletic facilities. And we'll go through that. Everybody has the old copy and the new copy, or they just need the new copy? Okay.
Where we at now?
Athletic facility improvements, renovations, and additions.
Right, it was a $300,000.
More 300, yes. And now she's proposing that we go to 390, yes,
From 300?
yes.
That's 60,000 with football fields at the high school, and then 30,000 for the middle that share football field.
So,
Not in anything but all.
okay, my question is what, how much are we doing in the middle schools?
For the athletic facilities, improvements, renovations, and additions, they never got any money allocated to them entirely.
Okay, what was the $5,000 or $6,000 each year they got from the levy for their athletics?
That was for their equipment and supplies, such as uniform, balls, those kinds of things.
And how much was we giving them at that time? 6,000,
They got
8,000?
15,000, I believe.
They got 15, and the high school got 65.
So middle school athletics, equipment, and supplies, that's $892, they only got $75,000, we keep that the same. And then give them 30,000 for the middle to share a football field with the high schools, because they also have some indoor facilities that they need to maintain as well.
I would
And
expect
equipment.
some of the indoor facilities, like basketball, courts, and stuff, yeah.
Okay, who controls that money? Is it the middle school principals?
The middle school principals, they allocate for what they want me to spend it on, and they put in requisitions through us.
I think it's real important to note that, I mean, that's a nice jump for the middle schools, but with sharing the facilities, I think it's very important that they work together on sometimes blend money together for projects outside. I know that we all know that now. Just as we move forward, that's very important that they work together in some of those projects. Obviously, the height, especially if it's out on, say, the football field. and they're replacing even the clocks, different things like that, that the middle school is, contributing some portion of that. There's no formula, but $60,000 when you're taking care of all the high school facilities, sounds like a lot, but a lot of times it was the high schools that were really doing most of that, except for high school.
And the 60,000 is actually the high schools plus, the field over at Mount Airy Middle, because that's gonna be the used field, they will get the 60,000 as well. I think I heard someone that was concerned about that.
Good, oh, okay.
It seemed a little low, though, the 30 for the middle.
Well, it was only 5 at one
But
point,
they got nothing for facilities,
wasn't it?
they have nothing for facilities.
And then it moved up to 15 and this 30.
Well, and then they still get the 15, well, actually, 75,000 will be down in middle school, so it'll be split.
I tell you, just in general, because of the cost of everything, you could even add more to it, but I know there's some, the county kicks in, I believe, at some portion of some of those programs.
And then additionally, up under buildings, we added equipment, playgrounds, and athletic facilities, to just make sure it's clear that we give you some of that money to pair with it.
My only,
But I got it up and running, and I can make any changes.
my only heartburn with this is the levies for 5 years.
Yes,
Things are not going to get cheaper.
no,
They're going to get more expensive. So if we lock in at 30,000, 60,000, then as things continue to go up, the 30 and 60 is going pretty quick. And, if it was a 1-year deal, I'd be okay, myself with that, but since it's a 5-year deal, and it just doesn't seem like, to me, enough,
You just have to make sure you gotta take it from somewhere else. There's only one pot of money.
so right
Yeah.
now, the athletic facilities,
So-
896, they expended 24, they've expended 415,000, and they have a budget carryover about 629,000.
Say that again?
They spent 415,000, and the carryover is 629,000.
Is that's total all high school?
Yeah, all schools. Now, the middle schools would have it in less than that. So then we have the, middle school athletic supplies and equipment, which is 892. That 75,000 is split between our 5 middle schools. But after next year, which this levy doesn't kick into effect until July 1 of 2026, we will have 4 middle schools. So even leaving it at 75, they'll get a raise.
okay,
You see what
they
I'm
will get a
saying?
raise.
Yes.
Will the high schools get a raise? Because
Well,
Liberty
the
won't be there.
other thing about that is, the athletic aid money, we're proposing that the free admission, to regular county sporting events, taking it from 230 to 300,000. And there's a couple reasons for that, like, Pam, Mrs. Knight can speak to this better than I can probably, but title, the conference that we're in right now, they increased the gate fees $5. And then they also, the athletic officials rate on
oh yeah,
it.
I have a question. On some of that money that was left, do you know if any of that's earmarked, like,
Yes.
say, for example, South Harrison
Yes,
for a turf?
actually, it is Lincoln High School has theirs earmarked for turf field.
okay.
Like the
That's why it looks like it's so large.
Right, because they have 3 years worth.
Like South Harrison, you're talking turf. Okay. What is their contribution to turf?
Right now, they're raising some money, and I know that they have some funds in their school cash. They have their school cash online that they control, that they have bank accounts in their school. They have some money raised for that, and then they have, I can look and see what the location.
Because always in the past, if we put turf on the field, each school had to come up with a large portion,
Okay,
and then,
Well, I think they'd like a regulation track too. because they're,
I don't know if they got enough room.
They
Out
do.
there.
they do have a room in South Harrison to put a regulation track in.
So, the breakdown of that $629,000, carryover into the following year is Bridgeport High School has about 100,000, it looks like it's 0.5. 502, which is at Liberty, they have about, 502 Liberty, or 502 Lincoln. They have 200,000. Liberty has, not Lincoln, Lincoln has 180,000. South Harrison has $61,000, and RCD has 45.
Jesus.
I think it's important to note though, and again, I don't have their plan, their forecast, but it's very important to note that they will stockpile their money for projects. For example, Bird did their baseball, facility. So some of that is misleading. It's not that they're not going to use it, it's just they're stockpiling it.
Right.
And some, and I think they're also trying to put some money back for turf replacement and some different things like that. I'm not sure exactly, but I think that's, that is part of the formula for the reason why there is a larger amount.
South Harrison replaced a lot of their scoreboards, their outdoor athletic scoreboards since I've been here.
We installed all those this summer.
Mr. Lopez.
Yes.
Who's gonna be responsible then for the field at Liberty? Middle school. Okay, so is middle school money going to be able to take care of a high school field?
Well, did you mention that they're going to give the
Yes,
same amount?
in this levy, call is specifically for that football, it has that football field in there. So if you read the red words under the notes on 896, 60K with football field at BHS, RCB, South Harrison High School, Lincoln High School, and Mountain Air Meadows. I didn't know what else to call it at this point.
And I do know that the amount of money, I think the last 5 years, the high schools all get 60,000 in.
Yes, you're right.
So I don't, now I know that if you have to replace money from another item, but 60,000 doesn't give them a lot of power in taking care of their facilities. And so we get into this, well, who's responsible for doing this, the county or the school? If you give the school money, ideally they're responsible for keeping that up. And we've slipped into that gray area where schools don't quite have enough money to do some of that. And what they've done is they've asked maintenance to try to do larger projects to offset costs. And we're not going to really be able to do much of that with our current workforce. So, I mean, that's a consideration. That 60,000 5 years ago, that was, because I remember I was a principal at the time, we got an extra 10,000 because it was 50. So that extra 10,000 was a big help. So move forward 5 years through COVID and with inflation, the cost of doing things around the facilities increased probably 30%.
That's
Just
also,
something to consider.
that's also why we added athletic facility up for buildings and facilities, for maintenance of athletic facilities, because some of the pieces that they're wanting to pay user athletic facility improvement renovation planning on are actually maintenance type issues, not improvement issues.
But the way you got worded right there is 60,000 with football field. So if we earmark that as labeled football field with 11, that's all that money can go to. Or you just gonna keep it
That's
as.
just over there, that's just our words over
Okay,
there.
okay, so that's.
For how we come up with allocation. That, the words for the levy are actually for the levy.
Okay, gotcha. I'm interested in seeing us increase the athletic facility. Mr. Lopez is right, Mr. Ho is right. I think that, what you could get, 2 years ago. So. I'd
And
also,
again, a lot of this, and I'm sorry to interrupt, Frank, but a lot of this is there needs to be some goals, I think, presented from the school to show what their future plans are. I mean, not to put it in concrete, but so that you all know, we know there's a plan to utilize that money going forward. Because you get a change in administration and what was a long-term plan, all of a sudden you get a new person and they start spending money, that plan changes. So, I think that would be important.
Well, since the middle schools have never had any money, would you rather take the football field, the athletic facility equipment, take that up to about 70,000, and then reduce the amount in the middle schools? They've never had anything for athletic facility updates.
So,
You're gonna reduce whose money?
no, they're not gonna reduce, she's just not gonna give the additional. She's suggesting not giving the additional to
Or
That
reduce-
much, yeah.
that much.
Well, I just don't understand why the middle schools have always been treated like the Master Childhood Family Reunion.
Well,
I mean,
actually,
they never, we always had to work with such a small amount. We have almost the same number of sports. We have the same uniforms, the helmets cost the same, the upkeep and everything. And we only want to give them, 5, 6, 15,000, and we're giving the others, 60,000.
that's what I was trying to even out, actually, Mr. Was they have been given, middle schools get $75,000, 15,000 apiece, but the high schools don't get it. And the high schools were getting 60,000 for their facilities specifically. The middle schools could use that 75,000 on anything for athletic supplies and equipment. The problem was they have no money to do anything with their facilities renovations. So I was trying to get them some additional money up there, but we can do it any way you want.
Okay, because there's very little, but it looks to me like facility-wise, the middle schools shouldn't have a lot to put into, because like I said, they don't own turf fields, they use turf fields and all that. But it's like when high school comes and say, well, you're using our field, we want you to kick in some money. And, I think that they have to understand what kind of monies they have. You can't ask for most of what the money that they get. Say, well, you need to give us X number of dollars for the use of our football field or our soccer field.
Okay, so
That's why I said height field is a major piece that we need to hold on to. It needs to be kept up, and it needs to be utilized for
Middle school.
soccer, middle school soccers, football games if we need to. That would be the only facility that would actually need helps and upkeep, that and Mountaineer Middle, since they have grass turf.
So you want to change that from, make it just the football field, the allocation will base it on football fields, include a high field in there, and take out the middle schools?
I just think we need to set a limit on how much the middle schools will have to contribute to the high schools. In other words, if they have $75,000,
Okay, so,
You can't do that.
so the middle school athletic supplies and equipment, it's number 892, they get allocated $75,000 a year, which is 15,000 apiece. In 2024, they spent 70,791. They have a carryover of $225,000.
Those first ones.
Equip-
Bonds and equipment, yeah.
And then there's 2 years left on the.
okay.
That's why I was not going to suggest giving them an each.
I think that's why we really need to work on and talk sometime about this height field situation. And I think it'd be a great complex just for the middle school. Then you wouldn't have to monkey with setting schedules with the high school or this or that or whatever. If that was ever done, of course, we talked about that, 15, 20 years ago.
Back when Moby Dick was in there.
There you go. And if,
Well, I mean, way back in the old days,
Who do we have?
on Thursday nights, Roosevelt Wilson played on the field. Friday nights, Washington Irving played on the football field. And on Saturdays, Notre Dame used the football field. Bridgeport used their own facility for their ball games. I'm just saying, it can be worked out because schedule you could play 3 games on 3 nights. You set the field up the first night for a football game, and let's say Washington Irving Middle plays on it, okay? The next night, Libertyville, or,
They're gonna have their own field.
huh?
They're gonna have their own
They're,
field.
I know, they're gonna have their own field, they can use it, but I mean,
Bridgeport or South Harrison.
anybody that needs to use it, because they're already set up the night before. You know?
Do you want to take it just to $65,000 and we'll just know that we allocated among the high schools in Highfield and middle school that will have their field? And they can determine, take out the 30,000 for the middle spring athletic facility. We always got the money up in the buildings for athletic facilities as well.
Before you make a decision, I will say that, and I'm not trying to muddy the water, I'm just trying to give you my experience. Lincoln Middle, for example, they're gonna wanna play at Stadhart Field. They're not gonna come to Highfield.
That's fine.
Same thing with
You
South
know,
Harrison.
And South Harrison's not coming to Highfield. It could be used as an
Same
overflow.
thing as Bridgeport.
I agree, and I know that I've read the history, and I know it's very important to the county, and it needs to be preserved. But I don't know that the decision that you make is gonna, you know, I don't know, there needs to be a groundsman there, and we need to make sure that we have something within maybe the maintenance budget that would take care of Highfield. I don't know how, you know, to oversee it, because it's gonna be out of sight, out of mind. I mean, thank goodness, really, that WI's been attached to it. And I know it's been a burden, and you guys, you know, have spent more money because of that facility with the middle school budget, and I understand that. But we're gonna have to look at another way. We've had, we've had a lawnmower stolen there. We've had problems in digging
Cameras
marbles.
stolen, we put cameras in.
We've had a lot of different issues, and it's because we just don't have anybody there on a daily basis. It's off the beaten path. So we need to come up with a plan. We need to keep groundsmen so that they're there, they're checking on it, and I think it'll be open to the community to use. And hopefully as an overflow.
Does Notre Dame still use it?
But they're just not getting ready to start back middle school football. I'm sure they'll use it, because they can't use that practice facility they have over there, I'm sure.
I think Notre Dame, they play soccer on it, don't they?
They may
Yeah.
very well play soccer.
But see, even scheduling that field, it was all scheduled through the middle school. And now, it's gonna be there, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna,
Maintain
well, it's scheduled, who's gonna be the scheduler?
Wasn't there some talk with city of doing something with that property or the county,
it. I don't remember wanting to, it's.
wanting to do something
They
with it?
wanted
to put a grade school there, but.
No, I mean, keep the facility as a facility, but open it up as a community facility of some
Recently,
sort.
No, I
Say
don't think we want to ever, we allow the community to use it, but I don't think we ever want to lose control of the facility, the Harrison County
They
school
asked
system.
for ownership of that the last time, that was,
Yeah,
the city manager, they said they would like to assume ownership of it. They would go after grants to keep a facility, and so that was really the only here recently, that they were interested in that.
The local organizations, the local football organizations for the kids, they aren't high school, middle school, they use it as well. I don't think it'll be a problem. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem, keeping it busy, keeping it
Yeah.
scheduled.
State group will want to use the field over Liberty. And then Clarksburg or Clarksburg, whatever they're called now, Golden Bears, at one time, they used Highfield. A lot of it comes down to scheduling, where they're at. Nobody knows who's playing there, have no idea when they're playing there. They just automatically show up, and either they got a key, and they just open up the facilities.
I think with not your middle, with WI not controlling it, that's gonna be a big issue. Who's gonna be responsible for scheduling games there? There's gonna have to be somebody.
Well,
So
I mean,
what exactly are we using
Who's gonna
Highfield
use it?
for?
When the grounds,
We just use
Yeah.
WI.
This grounds,
In the
this grounds,
future, we're gonna try to give it levy money and to keep it up and running, but what are we gonna be using it for? Because all of our middle schools aren't, like you said, like I'm with Jimmy, South Harrison, Lincoln, Bridgeport, probably even Bird, they're gonna wanna use their own field for middle school. Maybe not Bert, I don't know, but I'm just
Which
saying.
I could-
But you can't do that because
Maybe use it.
Mount Airy Middle is gonna be with WI, and they got their own field.
And you could connect it to Bird possibly.
I
So-
don't think it's bad not having more fields. I tell you what, scheduling wise, it's really difficult to schedule a lot. So we could, I mean, if somebody's willing over in the middle school to maybe take on that, they could run 2 fields. You have, you know,
You have
I
height
don't know.
field, you have your own school field, you have 2 calendars. In that calendar, you cannot have everything.
Practices.
Board state place, and height
Well-
field.
So then should there be a levy line item strictly for Hyde Field?
So
I think we have to look at.
I agree.
Mr. Lopez.
We gotta find out what.
That was a good point you brought out, I think, but how about if it was the main purpose of it would be then the track facility for the middle school? Do you think the middle school kids would come, I mean, you could have track meet there without a doubt, where it's tough to have one. Well, Lincoln, they don't have the right size, for instance, someplace at South Harris.
So what's the schedule, just as an example, what's the schedule for football, soccer, and cross-country track in the fall, right? Right now, I know sometimes in Bridgeport, they have it staggered. Sometimes they do it early in the morning, sometimes they do it late at night. With an additional field like this, they'd be able to have, you know, football at 3:30. They'd be able to do soccer at 3:30. They'd be able to do track at 4 or 5 or something along those lines.
So which middle school AD is gonna take on that project?
That's the question. That's the
Well,
question.
with Robert C. Byrd being the largest school in the county, you know, they could really use that facility for practices and for games and, you know, that could get, and they could work with the middle school for extra, you know, if they're having a soccer and a boys and girls soccer game, maybe they could have them separate at the same time. I mean,
Yeah,
it
there's
gives you
there's a
some
lot of
options.
possibilities, but I don't think we can put any money towards it until we know what it needs, what it needs to be fixed up, what it needs to be maintained, you know? Or, you know, your suggestion of putting money in the budget for grounds crew, do we have?
Well, we already have a grounds crew attached to
All right,
that.
so we could do that, but
What if we didn't do the allocation amount? We just said that it's indoor and outdoor athletic facilities and equipment. Provide improvements, renovations, and additions to indoor and outdoor middle and high school athletic facilities. Leave it like that, but increase it to $390.
Okay, what about money on?
390, that's what you have down.
Yeah, that's what I have down, and then we can hash it all out about how we're gonna allocate it later when we know what happens.
because it's considered a county athletic facility, correct?
Because it would be a county's
Facility
facility.
that general.
That's why I've always said it's important,
That's why you don't put the words over in the levy column.
that's why I always said it's important that the county Board of Education or the board and that know what's going on at every school and at what night, what activities going on. I think it should be mandatory of the athletic directors to provide a copy so that you could, if, for example, if you wanted to go see a ball game, you don't know when that game's, but you could look on that calendar and say, oh, there's a game over here, maybe I'll stop in and see it, you know, make an appearance there.
Who's
Yeah,
gonna do that?
that's.
That every athletic director should send a copy of their master schedule.
It's on,
Sure,
it's
it
on
should
the
be on
school
the-
calendar.
yeah,
All you have to
yeah.
do is look at the school site.
The website.
Hold on, that's not gonna affect the money that we're, the
No.
calendar,
No.
right, and let's talk about that. Let's talk about the money that you want. Do you want money? How much money do we need? You think you want? Is 390 not enough?
No, I mean, I'm fine with 390, you know, if it gets, runs out, you know, if we're not good stewards of the money, it'll run out pretty fast.
Well,
And if we're good stewards of the money, and it has to be okay through Whitney and them as to what project is going on, and then if it has to be brought to the board, then I'm fine with leaving it at 390 and see where it goes, and we'll go, and just have to.
So
We
this
can go with
year,
390 and go with Whitney's suggestion of wording.
I'd like to toss a audible we've been paying the Y and the bridge $20,000 every year. They have no PO, they keep hitting us with it.
We got a contract.
I know, but what if we were able to put the money for the swimming and the facilities that we use,
It could be in there,
and put that in this as well?
indoor and out, improvements, renovations, and additions,
So you're gonna take out the 390,
additions,
the money you
and
paid for the
rentals.
bridge and.
I'm suggesting we
She's
increase.
saying add rentals.
And put, so the athletic facilities, improvements,
Is the word
renovations,
rentals?
additions, and rentals.
Yeah.
Because it's a rental.
And then do we
And then
want
we
to
could
up it
increase, increase it at least
to 410?
yeah.
That's the 20 and 20, that'll put it 410.
That takes more than that.
20 and 20 would be 40.
Yeah.
430.
Let me see what.
And then you
That's a
have,
great
you still have some money in there for the athletic, we could, I would like to go with, South Harrison and try to work something out. We can get them squared away, help them with their field and with their track, that would be great. We gotta pull some money from somewhere else.
The nice thing about that is, if you look above, to go 2 spaces above the buildings, we've added in there playgrounds and athletic facilities. So those could be those pre-approved projects that
From the county level.
from the county level.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So you're,
So you could say, they have 200,000 and we like Lincoln, I know he's saving his money. So he's got 180,000 right now. This year he got another allocation. So say he's got $225,000 to replace his turf needs fixed, replaced. And say it's gonna be $700,000. We can go into that building's money that we get used
okay.
That's the nice thing about adding athletic facilities in there, because then you can compare it more together.
I'm still stumped on how Lincoln would have that much money left after building that gigantic addition onto
they've
their.
been stockpiling.
They
Why do they
use
stockpile?
they use money,
My
Lincoln,
understanding, they spent it all to build that.
they use their school money that they've raised. They didn't touch their
They did
athletic
fundraising.
allocation.
They raised all that money to build that facility.
Well, not all of it, I mean, we
No,
donated,
but part of it.
we matched some of it.
Well, we've been working here to do 5-year strategic, like, capital projects. We're trying to look at a 5-year plan. That's what we need to do with our athletic facilities across the county. And Lincoln may be part of that. The South Harrison project could be part of that. And look, so they know we're working toward that, and that money could be used for that. In our 5-year plan for the county on taking care of all of our athletic facilities.
They
And
better
the
find
smaller
out,
projects, they could do.
they better find out what a turf costs now
Oh, yeah.
out of South Harrison. Then whatever you decide you're gonna allow them, then they gonna have to go how much they gotta come up with the difference to put turf on that field.
Yes.
Bird had raised, 100,000.
They did, they raised some money, but remember, we had to pull their last 2 or 3 years of levy money away from them because they stopped raising money.
Right,
Be kind of upfront.
okay.
Let me ask a quick question. Buildings, you have current levy call at 4.2 million, and the proposed amount you're asking to reduce, you're suggesting reduce it to 4 million? Okay,
There's a reason.
okay.
New line item there, safety and security. I think we only have 3 or 4 buildings left after we do the secure entrances at the RCB, Liberty, and down in Middle. I think we only have about 4 buildings left to do secure entrances. So secure entrances would be under safety and security for the new levy law, as well as school resource officers, which we're really paying. And then we would also have security officers, cameras, access control doors, and safety and security equipment. So right now, the security equipment and safety equipment we've been buying has been coming out of buildings. So we're just pushing it down.
I thought the secure entrances were already like funded
So from
for
RCB,
all
Mountain
secure,
Middle, and
no,
Liberty.
all
No,
of them
no.
through something other than this, no?
Just
We got some
our budget.
SBA money, we got some SBA money for that.
For the three.
For three.
Security.
You're talking about whether they were budgeted or not.
The Bridgeport High,
Yeah,
so Bridgeport
okay.
High School we still need to do.
Yeah.
Bridgeport Middle School we still need to do.
Yeah, Bridgeport Middle, we can do that in-house.
They get everything.
Bridgeport High School is going to be a big one.
Yeah.
I do worry a little bit about,
Expensive.
I do worry a little bit about, I know we're only taking 200,000 away from it, but, that's the call from 5 years ago, and with inflation and stuff that we do, just even HVAC wise, and stuff that we're gonna have to do in the future HVAC
I
wise.
understand that this is a 5-year call. We've done a lot of HVAC, we've done a lot of roof work. We're building our permanent improvement fund to do athletics, to do any kind of major capital project. I'm making a concerted effort to make sure we fund that every year so that we have the funds available to replace HVAC and roofing. That's how the dollar amount is calculated that we fund that.
We better start with this building, because it's awful hot in here.
Yeah, we didn't have like dedicated capital improvement money.
But we've got a 30% inflation rate, just the stuff that we're doing.
We're also reducing our number of buildings that we have to continue to maintain.
But we also must remember that the new Lincoln High School and the new Robert C. Byrd are no longer new.
Right, yes, we
They
got,
refer
And they're going to need some repair.
yes, they will need repairs, yes.
As an example, just 2 examples.
Yes. But that's not the only money that you have allocated for facility maintenance.
So you're raising the athletic facilities improvement to 430?
Yeah.
Okay,
440 or 430?
430. And to include,
Yes, the rentals.
you'll fix the wording on that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we're removing the 300.
390.
390 goes to
390.
So the money's still available. This is,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's going to go to
facility.
Yeah, we're just moving.
All right. Safety and security, you touched on that. Technology, 850.
Technology. 850, yes. I'm proposing that we reduce that to 1.5 million. The reason is because we get step 7D money from the state, and that went up $900,000 from 2023, 2024, and 2025. So 2025 to 2023 was a $900,000 increase. And Mr. Poole and I talked about that, and that's going to continue. We look to continue to see that rise. The step 7D is based upon the local share increase every year. And it's been going up astronomically, and and that has to do with the assessed valuations of properties, and with the building materials going up, assessed value of property. Valuations go up, which means property taxes go up, which means step 7D.
Can some of this technology money, could there not be a way to figure out an height field, to be able to put cameras up high enough that these backpackers could get up the poles or whatever with the backpack on, to tear down these cameras or destroy the cameras?
Cameras are only good if you have somebody watching them.
Um,
Cameras are only good as long as you have somebody watching them.
Well, if they're recording, I mean, I know they've broken the press box out there and destroyed it. Right after it was repaired, they went right back in there and tore it up. I mean, to me, I just think that, I watch crime dramas every day. And like Walmart and everywhere else, and you can tell who's going daylight, dark, or whatever.
Then you gotta find it.
It won't be hard to find in Clarksburg.
I will tell you, the cameras, the investigations that we've done, even when they've cut off catalytic converters off of our maintenance vehicles and different things, we have them right there dead to rights on cameras, but they've got a hoodie on. You don't see, they know how to, I'm not saying that there is some crook news out there they won't cover up, but 99% of the time, they're covered up. The only way you can find them is you happen to find a license plate. and a common vehicle passes by. You're using multiple facility cameras to find that. But I mean, I agree. I mean, it's something,
For putting fences in out there, gigantic fences, why don't we put a mean dog in there every night? Just runs around the property, and when they come in to steal, they get, they take a chance of getting laid up.
Yeah, there's always.
We could use the 220 up to those.
Yeah.
You know who it is, you see when it's more out.
So you're only using lights. It's, because he buys a lot of that.
Technical cameras, ideal, can come out of this.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes, exactly.
You see the safety and
And in
security
charge.
budget.
What's that?
The safety and security budget says that you can put cameras, access control doors, or, other camera equipment technology. So you could technically take some of
Right
that.
now, Todd buys that,
Right.
out of technology, so he's,
Yes.
we're
Safe.
using it,
Security.
it's moving it.
Safety and security budget.
Todd buys all the cameras, right? Baseball.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Todd buys it all.
He must make a lot here. Already.
What's your favorite item?
Step 7B.
What's?
So that's not going to affect
Cameras?
any, it's not going to affect any rollover with, replacing devices or,
No, it's actually, I think it's more money, right?
It is, when you look at the total, it's
yeah,
more.
3
If you would buy,
Increase in-
instead of buying mediocre cameras that may suffice in the school or whatever, and buy an upgraded camera, some upgraded cameras, say for Hayfield or any other problem areas.
Yeah.
No,
that money will be there.
Okay, then the money will be there.
Any questions on technology? Duplication of services and supplies.
Never enough.
No,
You could put,
You need to go back to Risograph.
Trying to push forward. We just-
that
we
shit's
just upped our technology.
I know, but
We
then,
want that backwards.
well, yeah, in this case you do.
Do we need to leave that alone, or do we need to? add
We
more?
actually-
She's increased it to 210.
we actually purchased more.
I better read both
Susan will
lines.
work with elementary school.
Okay.
Student accident insurance.
Did we use it a lot last year?
The actual accidents are being approved from insurance companies. I don't see them.
Okay.
The actual accident claims, that's works through Mr. Snyder's office.
Is that same thing with personnel? Get
No,
her-
that has nothing to do with personnel. That's workers' comp.
These are if a student at ball game gets hurt, they use their primary insurance and then any additional
Right.
they can submit.
And for those kids that don't have any health insurance, they have an accident insurance. that they can-
Thank you.
Middle school athletic supplies and equipment.
Okay.
I'd kind of like to see a bump in that.
Well, you gotta remember, we're going, when this levy call comes into place, we will not have 5, we will have 4.
And that money, so we'll leave the money the same, only it'll increase.
So the reason, so are we buying uniforms for some school teams and making others buy their own school uniforms?
That is up to the
I
principal.
understand. Is it
They
because
spent
they don't have enough money to do
$20,000.
that?
They spent $20,791, and they have a $225,000 carryover.
I just don't want it to be, one group gets uniforms and then the other group has to buy their own. Not to specify
I understand that.
specifics.
I agree.
So, I mean, that's something that might be an administrative guideline that comes out in the future.
And there's a lot of fundraisers that are supposed to be used for, uniforms and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Schools raise money in the name of the school, and I think you're taking a harder look at that.
Mhm.
Money's raised
Yes,
in the school.
we have met with the school.
Well, that's what I mean, if that's what it's raised, if the raised it for, then that's what it's got to be used for.
I think some coaches require things too, but maybe others don't.
Well, that's
Just
just,
fear of
Yeah.
that.
some people have champagne tasting the beer pocketbook.
Yeah.
You know, and, you
So
know,
it'll go from like 15 to 18.
18,000.
Yeah.
With the 4 instead of 5.
It's 5, right?
yeah, I gotta keep that in mind.
So
I
now
think
you're at
we're
18 apiece.
going to 4 instead of 5.
All right, let's go to public library and 4-H support.
So I've heard from both of them, the, public library says they would totally appreciate the 200,000 just to maintain that. And Amy, Adams, I spoke with her today, she apologizes that she had a family emergency, and could not attend the last 16, and she has another commitment for tonight. But she offered her assistance in doing anything she can do to help promote and advertise the library. And then, Mr. Burnside from 4-H has requested, WVU is requesting him to request 60,000 instead of 50,000. Because, you know, hospitals and the other people use it to fund a person. Part of the person.
Maybe we ought to just cut Gordon McGee's, pay by 10,000 and we'll give it to
I mean, especially after all the layoffs they did, professors and
And
firings,
firings.
yeah, firings. I'd like to consider that one a little more before I agree personally to raise the extension services.
WVU should have the money.
Mhm.
They save a million firing people that shouldn't have been fired. But, you know, I don't have a personal issue at all.
So what is the board's preference? You want to leave it at the 50,000 or?
Yeah, I would like to do the 50,000.
That wasn't really a
Everybody
written
else will
request
do that.
from the university.
No.
That was, that came through Jason.
Yes.
We didn't get a formal request.
No, we did not
Well,
have a formal request.
possibility.
And we did, and I did let him know what the meeting was.
260, maybe go
Hey.
265, split the difference.
Gotcha.
Then when you get 270,
I mean, 255.
They shouldn't get it.
He said none.
Yeah.
he said no.
250.
I said,
250, I think leave it at 250, that's not it.
no, no, no.
Change it.
I do, you know,
Readmission to regular sporting events, county sporting events, an increase of 70,000 from current levy.
Yes. This is my,
That was something that all the principals had asked.
Yeah. And that's for the
And the-
officials,
And
mostly
the-
for the
yeah.
officials.
For an increase.
So officials get paid by the school, correct? And WVSSAC doesn't offer any.
no,
No.
they only pay for the state, regional.
Can you tell them, isn't it $800 in football?
Yes, back in 2018, 2019, just for example, for football, we paid $80 per official. Okay, the new rate scale that came out this year, we are paying $110 per official, and they're going with the 7 games. So one home football game is going to cost $770 just for officials.
They're adding another
The
official.
calls, correct.
And the same way, just like baseball, in 1819, baseball officials cost us $65. Now, this coming spring, they're going to cost us $100.
Who sets those rates? Is there official?
There's
official?
official boards, and they actually come to the Big Ten meeting, and basically they kind of hold hostage.
That's what I'm gonna say, they have strong marketing.
They typically will say, just like baseball, we're not going to officiate your games if you don't get the pay. So, and some of them, they are now, we pay an assigning fee too. Each school pays an assigning fee. Some sports, like football, they don't ask for an assigning fee. But the baseball does, basketball does, soccer does. Baseball for an assigning fee, they pay $100 to the official board. And soccer pays $30 for girls and $30 for boys. So it's kind of all over the place with that. And they have been significant increases with the officials over the past 6 years. It's kind of silly.
Boards, they compare
For the
notes.
kids.
They compare notes with other boards, so
Yes.
if one board's got more money,
And they
you might have, like, in the East panhandle, they're making more money, and then next thing you know, it's that trickle down effect. And they're all asking for it.
One of the things that we did a couple of years ago to try to relieve some of the athletic costs was with David, was the huddle costs for coaches using huddle. And the county has absorbed the base cost of that, where the schools were paying for that. About $8,000 out of their athletic funds. We are now covering that to make it equal, equitable, because we found out some high schools were, and really Mr. Alveria kind of brought it to my attention.
Yeah, so some of the,
About that. So
every high
that's
school had
some.
football. And what Huddle does is Huddle breaks down your film and your opponent's film. And that's how we, instead of, and Coach can tell you, instead of going and taking and meeting someone on a Sunday and exchanging film, you do that all online now, and that's what Huddle does.
Yeah.
Huddle also breaks down your film. Now, we had, pretty much, I think every one of our football teams had Huddle, and our boys basketball teams had Huddle. But none of the girls basketball teams, none of the volleyball teams, most of your soccer teams didn't have anything like that. So we really saw not a very level playing field. So we've dedicated $8,000 per school, flat rate. Anything above that, Bridgeport, I think, has the gold package for football. Anything above that 8,000, that's the school's on the hook for that.
Right.
They have to raise that money. But to make things equitable, we leveled the playing field for all of our schools.
And that would have been coming out of their athletic funds. So.
Yes, and most schools did not reach that
That's
8,000. Bridgeport reached that 8,000, I think,
Maybe
and then
both.
Byrd maybe came close. But I know South Harrison wasn't. They had maybe 2 sports on there, and it just wasn't level.
What does Huddle charge per school? I mean, per game and all that?
To get all of your sports on Huddle, it's $8,000. That's it. Now that does include the automatic camera at every football field and the automatic camera at every basketball facility. So the gymnasiums and our football fields are covered. That's how we can stream on a Friday night, and I don't have to be at every school.
All right. Breakfast and lunch for the county school children.
That's good.
And the reason there's an increase is because and COVID, the lunch reimbursements went back to pre-COVID, so.
And we're losing,
Yeah.
about $200,000 a year that we've been getting from
Right.
COVID money for milk.
Yeah, milk has increased. If your complaints about milk.
Any questions about the lunch? Last item was the supplementation of the budget. $3 million increase.
Anything else that's going on?
That's just covering, that's where we are currently
Mhm.
with it, and that just keeps us status quo. And then, estimating that legislative proceeds, I heard that, the last meeting that we wanted to do a 5% reduction. And so that green number on the bottom, using that levy rates with the 5% reduction.
Mhm.
And so then we still have a little bit of money left, and then there's, an example of what we could do with that.
This one.
I have a question I've asked, Whitney, since, okay, we're next year.
Yes.
About possibility of pay raise for personnel.
I had the group that came in to meet with me, and they said that they were asking for $500. They understood that the allotment was going up as well, and they asked if there could be the possibility of $500. They weren't asking for a lot, because they didn't know with the medical allotment, that's 500, and then if we could do 500 more, it would be 1,000. They said that the employees would really appreciate that. That was the group that came to meet with me.
Well, I just said, I've said all along, $1,000 across the board, off the bottom. So,
She's got it listed in blue down there on the last line. Remaining difference to be allocated could potentially fund 1,000 across the board
Is that
for increase for all professional
Including the
services.
500 medical allotment? That's a.
No, that's
Oh,
different.
okay.
The 500 medical is already up on the other now.
We've talked about a couple different things. So this is the levy list that she has. Yeah, so basically what, at the end of this, what we're looking at now is she put down 5% reduction of the levy tax. So we would not increase the levy, we would decrease the levy 5%, and that's what the remaining funds are going to be at that 5% reduction. At the 10%, there's 4.5% and a 9.35% reduction. So those are the numbers at the bottom with the decrease. Each column has the decrease listed in where we would be
That's if you can continue to provide these services.
if we continue to provide these services
And
or add the
the
additional
in-house-
services
the in-house
that we
school.
talked about, correct?
And even with the changes you guys have made, we could still swing that blue thing.
Okay,
We
great.
can swing the blue,
Yep.
Oh,
okay,
But that's at the 5% reduction.
amen.
With the 5%.
Is that okay?
so that
Well,
would be-
if we wanted to go more, that's gonna change, that's gonna change the bottom line in the blue, which means we might be able to.
That would be for all 5 years, counting this year. Or just one year?
1,000.
The blue line, we could still do.
Mhm.
Okay, so can we lower it, what can we lower it to keep the blue line?
You can keep, you got the blue line. Yeah,
It's only 250.
No, it's 5,000. Would be FY, would be July 1 of 2026.
Yeah, it's this one right here.
I got you.
But we did add 30,000 to the final amount, right? Because we added 30,000 altogether, because we added the 40,000 and then took away 10.
Right. The total revised number is 1,811,600.
So that's gonna have to be a discussion that we have independent, since we've set all the numbers in place and everybody's agreeing to set the numbers in the position that we're setting them. We'll have to discuss what we want to do to,
Exactly.
percentage-wise, what we want to do to reduce the levy.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah. And then make a determination as to how much, and then we can talk to Whitney and see if she can change.
The number,
Mhm. Yeah, if we come up with a 7% or
number that'll work.
a number that we think is acceptable, I think any number of a reduction in taxes is acceptable, I think, but, if we can reduce taxes, I'm all for it.
Okay, when's our next meeting?
We haven't scheduled a levy meeting, the next levy meeting, so our next meeting is in 2 weeks, 2 Tuesdays from now.
What's our timeline?
It's, we have to get the final letters all done by August 29th to the clerk. So we have to get this.
Yeah, so we should probably call a
We need to
special
do it
meeting.
quickly, yeah,
Mhm.
quickly.
So should we not set that on, the 20th? I mean,
No, I think we should do it on the 13th. If we can do a meeting on Tuesday, the 13th, do a special meeting so we can set the tax rate.
4:30.
I prefer 5, since we don't have a regular meeting after that. Would that be acceptable?
that's just going to be on the levy, just,
That'll be on the levy tax percentage.
now, if we talk about submitting her goals, that's fine.
Yes, no, that's not.
That's fine.
We'll go into executive session time.
Okay, okay.
Start.
So I was gonna say, if,
Start then.
if we get done, if we go in on the station and we come up with it, and we give you, and then you work it all together, then could it not be put, the final okay on, or goals on that date too,
13th,
on the 13th?
if we can come up with the goals in the meeting, the session we had this afternoon, or this evening, I don't see why it couldn't be.
I just
We
think,
can all agree to what the
and
goals are.
that, then that's another project done out of the way and move forward.
I don't see why that would be a problem.
Are you saying to add the goals to the levy?
No. Doug's saying is to take the levy goals that we we discussed tonight, if we can determine what the goals are going to be this evening, is to add them on the 13th meeting for approval. To set our goals for the 13th.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
That's why we want, that's why I wanted to pull this in tonight. Why I wanted to pull this in this evening, so we can talk about it this evening. All right. Are there any other questions regarding the levy or any other discussion points regarding the levy that you would like to bring up? No. I would like to tell you all that I've reached out to a couple of people. I think we should have a levy committee. And what I would like from the levy committee is for it to be made up of people around the county. And if each of you can bring me a name or reach out to somebody who's willing to serve on the levy committee, we'll set up a levy meeting and then let that give the levy committee some instructions on what they can do and what the board can help them or provide to them. And then let them kind of go and run with some levy items on their end as well.
We've done some sample brochures,
Mhm.
but since we haven't finalized anything, we weren't sure. So we're working on some things.
Mhm.
And we would like to have some things out of our open houses,
Okay,
you know,
good, yeah.
promoting that.
So that's
The
good.
schools have asked for that,
Yeah,
so
we
we're
can-
working
yeah.
on that.
If we can set that up on the 13th, then you can just add right into that. Yeah.
Okay. We just didn't want to be premature.
No, I agree. Can you let everyone else see that so that we can?
Yeah, we're working on different ideas.
And then this is a promotion. Right, yeah, we can't send it out there, right, but that's why I was wanting
But you said
everybody.
this was about the current levy.
Well, no, these were actually proposed, but we did one.
We just can't release it yet.
No.
That's suggested, right. But if we get a levy committee together, it's information like that, we can give the levy committee, and the levy committee can do it.
I've had a couple of teachers who reached out that would like to be on that, so,
Oh, okay, that's perfect, absolutely.
so they would help.
Absolutely, so. I think if the structure of the committee should be where you have 2 or 3 different chairmen. You have a chairman that can work with teachers and educators, and work with a couple people, and you have a chairman that can work with businesses and local organizations, and have a couple people work with that chairman. And then the 3rd chairman could work with local municipalities and towns and cities to kind of express the levy and what that means to the county
Somebody on the chamber.
or the chamber, yeah.
Yeah, so it is the same.
Yeah, so if you can get me those names ASAP, or reach out and let me know who we can do it to ASAP, will be good.
We do education committee
That'd be great. Who's that?
chair. We said education chair on the chamber right now. Travis Riddle is. He's been pretty involved. Yeah.
Well, that'd be good.
Okay,
Get involved, yes, absolutely.
that would be a lot.
All right, any other questions, concerns, topics, discussion for the levy? All right, if there are no other discussion topics on the levy, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the levy work session.
So moved.
Mr.
Second.
Tucker has made the motion to adjourn, Ms. Smith has seconded the motion, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?